October 8th, 2024 at 1 o'clock. If I could ask everyone to please silence their cell phones or put them on vibrate during the meeting, that would be great so we don't get disturbed during the meeting. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Here.
Commissioner Moss?
Here.
Commissioner Perkins?
Here.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton? Vice Mayor McGee?
Here.
Mayor Harden?
Here. Our invocation today will be given by Elder Robert Kinchin of the Christ Fellowship Church of God in Christ, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could all please keep our prayers, thoughts and prayers for the folks who a year ago, October 7th, lost their lives over in Israel in a terrorist attack. So please keep those folks in your prayers. Pastor, thank you. Welcome. Please stand.
Good afternoon to you all. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to say thank you for your goodness, your grace, your mercy, your love. We ask, Lord God, that you would allow your spirit to come into this quorum, allow your people to deal safely, wisely, and confidently with the situations that are coming up in our community. We also ask, Lord God, that you would bless the state of Florida, that you would send a shield of protection around this state as we are looking toward the impending storm that is headed. You will cover us all, and we ask now that as you cover this meeting, you cover our state and your people all over the world. In the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of September 24th, 2024?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion approving the special City Commission meeting minutes of September 19th, 2024, the second budget hearing?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Can I get a motion approving the special City Commission meeting minutes of September 12th, 2024, our first budget hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Let the record reflect Commissioner Segerson-Eaton has joined us. Thank you, Commissioner. Let's see, on the approval of the agenda, items number 9 and 10, we're going to be moving to go to immediately after item number 3. So 9 and 10 will be moved and taken immediately after our quasi-judicial item number 3. Mr. Harrison, any other changes?
No, sir.
Very good. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. On our consent agenda this evening, we'll be pulling item number 2 for individual discussion. So item 2 will be dealt with individually. All other consent agenda items will be open for discussion during audience to be heard. All right, that takes us up to a proclamation. I've got a proclamation for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I'm going to proclaim October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month in the city of Pompano Beach. Mr. Gene Zamoski, Chief Information Officer for the city, will be accepting the proclamation right over here on the side. All right, Gene. Of course, in this day and age, everyone deals with cybersecurity since we're all linked in with computers, so it's important. We all take that serious. Whereas the month of October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and the theme for 2024 is Secure Our World. And whereas Cybersecurity Awareness Month is an international initiative that educates everyone about online safety and empowers individuals and businesses to protect their data from cybercrime. And whereas since 2004, the President of the United States and Congress have declared October to be Cybersecurity Awareness Month, time dedicated for the public and private sectors to work together to raise awareness about the importance of cybersecurity. And whereas, even amidst large-scale data breaches and cyber attacks, Cybersecurity Awareness Month reminds everyone that there are simple, effective ways to keep yourself safe online, protect your personal data, and ultimately help secure our world. And whereas the campaign focuses on the top 4 ways to stay safe online. 1, use strong passwords. 2, turn on multi-factor authentication. 3, update software. And 4, recognize and report phishing. And whereas over the years it has grown into a collaborative effort between government and industry to enhance cybersecurity awareness, encourage actions by the public to reduce online risk, and generate discussion on cyber threats on a national and global scale. October 2024 marks the 21st Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, on behalf of the entire City Commission, hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Cybersecurity Awareness Month in the City of Pompano Beach, and encourage all residents to support this effort and educate yourself about online safety. Done this 8th day of October 2024. Gene, I'll turn it over to you, sir. Thank you for all you do for our city. Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioner, Gene Zamoski, CIO. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is dedicated to fostering a safer digital world for all, where technology intertwines with every fragment of our lives. The importance of cybersecurity cannot be overstated. While the digital landscape offers boundless opportunities, it also presents complex challenges. Cyber threats have evolved into sophisticated attacks endangering personal privacy and security. Cybersecurity is not just a technical issue, but a fundamental aspect of our daily lives. It requires the active participation of everyone. We each have a role in safeguarding our digital identity, from adopting robust passwords to observance against phishing attacks. As previously stated, there are 4 simple ways to stay safe online. Use strong passwords. Turn on multi-factor authentication. Update your software. And recognize and report phishing. Remember, in cybersecurity, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate all you and your staff do to keep our city safe. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sir.
All right, that takes us up to our presentation, Strategic Plan 2023 through 2025, first half FY24 progress presentation, given by Mr. Reyes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mayor, Commissioners, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Ernesto Reyes, and I'm the Strategic Performance Consultant for the city. The following is a brief presentation. It serves the purpose of communicating the progress that staff has made towards the implementation of the 37 strategies that are associated with the 24 actions adopted in the fiscal year 23-25 strategic plan. The plan was adopted on September 26, 2023. As I just stated, there are 37 strategies associated with the strategic plan. Overall, there are 87 active strategies that are being reported in the system. The other 50 are part of previously adopted strategic plans. Excuse me. And as always, as part of this presentation, we provide you backup that updates you on all 87 of those active strategies. This strategic plan is different than prior strategic plans in a variety of different ways. One of those ways can best be communicated or explained by offering the following question. Are organizations, the success of organizations, are they better off doing things in a systematic way? In other words, is there consistency in how they conduct processes as they pursue the goals and mission of their organization? Or is the organization better off when everybody does things however they think is best? Excuse me. This question is not meant to be applicable to processes that are governed by state statutes, such as our budget process, nor is it meant to be applicable to processes that are department specific. Instead, it's applicable to processes that are that touch every department, and every department, it's can be argued that every department should participate in that process. In the next slide, I'll be able to show you some of those processes that were identified that lend itself to a strategic approach. But before that, let me share with you some characteristics of a systematic process. And these couple characteristics were obtained from the definition provided from Malcolm Baldrige in the Sterling entity, the Sterling Award. First is that systematic processes are repeatable. Repeatable processes tend to offer a higher level, relatively speaking, they tend to offer a higher level of customer satisfaction and engagement. Alternatively, process that's not repeatable tends to yield higher customer frustration. Systematic process also permits a gain in maturity of the process, or systematic approach, I should say, also permits a gain in maturity of the process because it involves data and information. Data comes about through the use of performance measures. When you obtain that data, it needs to be analyzed and evaluated. In that process, it gets converted to information. That information can then be distributed through the organization and be used to make improvements, hence the gain in maturity of the process. So as part of our strategic planning efforts, once we were able to find consensus on what the goals were, we then turned our focus over to identifying those processes that do lend itself to a systematic approach. So this next slide here, we've enumerated what those processes are. So if we take the first one, 2.24, the strategy 2.24, so AKA, but when I say strategy, I'm also referring to action plan. Some of you may be more familiar with that terminology. So 2.24, design and implement a systematic approach to succession planning. So that would be the process, succession planning. 6.31 pertains to performance measurement, analysis, and review. 6.41, continuous performance improvement. 6.51, how do we maintain and create SOP, standard operating procedures? And the last one, 6.61, how do we manage complaints? Excuse me. So when we were doing our strategic planning efforts, excuse me. So, let me digress. During the first half of fiscal year 24, all these strategies called for us to conduct research. And that's what was done. That's the progress that I'm sharing with you now that was done during the first half of fiscal 24. In some cases, that research was done internally in the form of surveying. So we surveyed different departments. So for example, 6.31, develop and implement a systematic approach to performance measurement, analysis, and review. Thank you. So we surveyed the departments because we wanted to know which departments were actively benchmarking. And we followed that question up with, okay, so what is your comparative data? And what entities were you benchmarking against? In some cases, that research was external. We wanted to know what others were doing, what are some of the best practices out there. And that applies to 6.41, develop and implement a systematic approach to continuous performance improvement. This particular strategy involved a considerable amount of research that yielded a report. That information was then shared with staff at a quarterly review and analysis meeting. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, that concludes the presentation.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Mr. Reyes. Appreciate all your work on that program and our strategic plan. Appreciate it. Do we have any questions for Mr. Reyes? Seeing none, thank you very much. Appreciate it, sir. All right, that takes us up to audience to be heard. Do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard, Mr. Alfred?
Yes, we do, Mayor. We have 3 speakers who signed up.
Very good.
First speaker, Janine, forgive me for the pronunciation of your last name. Janine.
Just name it as for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Good evening.
Forgive me.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon, Mayor Hardin and Commissioners. My name is Jeannie Schermisser, 1620 North Ocean Boulevard, Pompano Beach. I'm here to speak on water, specifically on stormwater. And it seems appropriate since we're all in the midst of a hurricane approaching. Yesterday, I walked from my apartment north of the 14th Street Causeway on A1A to the Hillsborough Inlet. I have walked this way hundreds of times, and almost every time there is water covering some parts of the sidewalk and extending into the grass on either side and going into the road. But yesterday, as I walked back from having breakfast around 11 a.m., and because of the rain, the sidewalks in some of the particularly low-lying spots were more like a flowing river, at least 5 or more inches deep. It was flooded across the entire A1A. The sidewalks, the grass on either side of the sidewalks, and even into the side roads. Luckily, I had water shoes on and an umbrella. But in order to pass, I had to walk in the middle of A1A along the 2 yellow lines, as that spot was the highest point and still above my ankles. Cars and trucks were spraying me on either side as they saw that the road was impassable for a pedestrian. I could have been killed just trying to walk home. Once home, I called the city and eventually got to speak with Michael Taylor. I explained the flooding problem and that I had taken pictures. He told me that A1A is under the jurisdiction of FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation, and not the city, and that there has been constant complaints over the years, and that he, Mr. Taylor, has contacted FDOT on a regular basis, but they are not responsive and have evidently done nothing to fix this flooding problem. Must a resident get hit by a car first before the problem can be solved? And what can you do about it? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments, ma'am. Sorry for your trouble traversing that area.
Mayor?
Yeah. Commissioner Fournier.
So I was probably going to talk about drainage in my reports. We probably all were. But maybe it's appropriate to just bring it up now since it already was brought up. I was sent pictures of Pompano Beach Middle School that was flooded also, and these kids walking and changing classes with ankle-high water, so sitting in class with wet shoes and socks. And I know that I have areas in my district, and I'm sure most of us do, that are just known for flooding. So for my district, part of Garden Isles in Norwood, near where you actually where the mayor lives, becomes impassable at times. And Southeast 2nd Street, the same over in Snug Harbor. So I know we're working on a master plan, I think, but I think we really need to think through as a strategy how we go forward with this and prepare for long-term, because we are getting these 1 in 100-year rainstorms, once a year or once a month, it seems. So I know it floods significantly more than when I moved here. There's minimum standards that we have to follow, but I've even had pictures sent to me of the new construction at Atlantic and Dixie, and some of that area flooded, which really concerns me since that's new construction and should be the latest and greatest standards. So I think this is something we really need to get ahead of in Pompano, and we are in a much better place than a lot of cities, much better, and we do a lot, but I think we need to get an update on this master plan and what we're going to do to these areas, because shaping swales is a good solution in the short term, but I don't think those are long-term solutions. It's more like the Lions Park project and these big drainage projects that we need to make sure we're doing in all these little areas of our district that floods too. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that a previous commission many years ago took the forward-thinking step of implementing a stormwater fee that all the city pays into now. So we have the dollars to take care of stormwater projects, which there's always more projects than there are dollars to go around. And we do have a master plan. I know the engineering department and others work on that master plan and update it. So yes, we are aware of it. Unfortunately, we have gotten a lot of rain, and the best system in the world cannot take care of every situation, as we've seen recently, and the storms are getting worse. But thank you for your comments. All right, let's continue with audience be heard.
Yes, next speaker, Sharon Chapata, followed by Vicente Tor.
Very good. Name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, Sharon Chapetta, 2870 Northeast 22nd Court. I'm frightened by not being able to see the drivers and the front occupants of vehicles with this dark tent. I don't know who has the ordinance, whether it's statewide, county-wise, but I think there is an ordinance about what degree of darkness there can be. Okay, the other issue is lawn clippings in the canals, and I don't think they're very good on the street either, but I'm thinking in the canals, they're adding to the fungus growth and the algae, and when that hot water, the stuff starts rising to the surface. I'm paying a lot of money, a lot of taxes to live where I live, and that's not pleasant. And then you brought up, and I wasn't going to mention this, but funding. Okay, let's do the projects that need to be done and forget you guys getting a new city hall. That's not necessary. Don't do it.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
I mentioned that about the testing, but I want you guys to enforce it.
Thank you, ma'am. It is, I believe it's the state law with BSO enforcing that. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Vicente Thoreau, Pompano Beach. Mayor, last Saturday we had our tailgate and our homecoming game at Blanchilla, the best high school in the county. You all can come anytime you want to. Mayor, it was fantastic. All the classes were there. We had a good time. But then we had a problem after while the game was almost over with. We had a shooting over by Mitchell Park. Mayor, what I'm asking tonight, well, today, this afternoon, is can we explore and make sure that we get some more lighting and cameras over there by Mitchell over that area by the park? Because I believe that area where the shooting occurred at, it ain't lighted very well. And if we can look at the camera systems and stuff that we can put over there, I think that would probably deter people from even going back there.
Very good point. Thank you.
And secondly, Mayor, there's been some rumors about bringing the Urban League into Pompano Beach. The Urban League is a Broward County, well, supposed to be for all of Broward County, but since you were a commissioner and Pat was here, they've never came here and actually done anything. Mayor, we have a lot of organizations that have been serving our community for a long time. such as Reverend Howard, his organization, even Ms. Showers and her organization. So many organizations that can do the same thing, those organizations that use our statistics and our data in order to get their grant funding, to get funding for Broward County Urban League, but don't come to Pompano Beach and then make the investment. I would totally be against giving them any money to do anything up here when we got nonprofits and agencies that are here all the time that could benefit and do the same thing that they can do. So I hope that before we look at partnering with the Urban League, we will look at those who are in our backyard and ask them to provide those services. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Good points. Next speaker?
That concludes audience to be heard, Mayor.
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you. I was going to bring up that in my report regarding the Blanche Ely Parade and the tailgate. I did mention to Captain Stallings that we do need to light up that area behind the football field, which is Mitchell Moore Annex. And that annex building, of course, we're trying to work on putting a youth center there. So it would be a good idea to light that area up because we have quite a few people that park behind that area during the game, and that's where this last shooting took place. So it is a good idea to light it up as bright as we can at night. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very good. That concludes audience to be heard. That takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion approving item number 1?
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and accepting the City of Pompano Beach's 2024 State Housing Initiative Partnership Act, SHIP, Affordable Housing Incentive Strategies Report, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, I receive a lot of questions regarding the SHIP program, and excuse me, I just want to ask quite a few questions that residents have asked me, and perhaps you can answer some of those questions. A lot of it is probably in the backup, but since we have the source here, I'd like for some of those questions to be addressed, starting with what is SHIP and what does it do with the funding? What do you do with the funding?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Alex Goldstein, Compliance Manager, OHUI. So SHIP is the State Housing Initiative Partnership Program, and within the city, we use the SHIP dollars for a variety of different programs. For instance, our housing rehab program, we leverage SHIP dollars with that program, demolition reconstruction, first-time home buyer purchase assistance, emergency repair, security and rent deposit program, as well as disaster assistance if needed.
How are you getting this information out to the public other than the city website?
Well, we publish our annual notice of funding availability in the paper. We hold public hearings. We had an AHAC public hearing where we discussed the strategies that we're going to be using in 2024 and 2025. We meet twice a year with our AHAC, one of which is published as a public hearing. We have flyers that we distribute in the community centers. We have plenty of information. If somebody was to come to our office, we would be able to sit with them if they want to make an appointment and ask questions. We're happy to do that too.
Yeah, I'd like to suggest again that you distribute flyers in the churches with the fraternities, sororities, and the homeowners association so that people will be aware when this funding becomes available. Do you presently have a waiting list now for SHIP?
Our waiting list is currently open for rehab and emergency assistance. So our waiting list is combined for the rehab program in general, right? So we accept up to 200 names. So the rehab, I believe, was opened up in July. We still have not reached 200 names. So if there's anybody that's in need of any sort of rehab assistance, give us a call and we can give you the information to put your name on the waiting list through our Neighborly software.
Okay, do you still have the gap financing?
For purchase assistance?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain that?
Well, we offer first-time homebuyer assistance to persons, obviously, that are first-time homebuyers in the amount of up to $80,000 for home and $60,000 for SHIP. So we have a very limited SHIP funding for this program because we have to meet our construction set-asides that come along with the SHIP program. So there's about, in 2024, 2025, we had about $96,000 allocated towards first-time homebuyer through the SHIP program. And Why that's important is the SHIP program allows us to go up to 140% AMI, whereas our federal grants, such as CDBG and home, allow us only to go up to 80%.
Okay. All right. In the future, I would like for you to, if you would, just send me some of the flyers so I can distribute them throughout the community so that people are aware of them, are aware of this program. So with that, that's it. So, excuse me, you have the new construction. How does that work?
The demolition, reconstruction, so if there's a house that's beyond our scope of rehab where it needs to be demolished and have reconstruction done, we do have some money set aside to do maybe 1 or 2 cases a year depending on the severity of it.
So when it comes to an emergency, say for instance, if you have a blue top on top of your house where the roof is leaking, is that considered an emergency?
We could put on a tarp. That would be considered an emergency, and then you would have to go through, because our emergency program is limited to $5,000. It's considered a grant. So if the work exceeds $5,000, you'll need to go through our housing rehab program, which is then tied to a deferred payment loan on the property.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Good evening, Jocelyn Jackson. I want to say to the program, the housing program, first of all, I would like to thank you for assisting the residents that came forth to take part of the program, which was the rehab. You know, it had some residents to reach out, and sometimes when the residents come up there and they need some assistance with the computer, if I'm there, even though I'm not hired by the city, but I do assist with the residents when they come. I also want to thank you guys for working with the 3 residents that that they asked me about the program, and I referred them over there. They're gonna be homeowners soon on the next set of housing, which it is a waiting list. He's correct. Let me just be clear. Information is put out. I done attend the seminars that the housing program have put forth. They put out flyers, and I want to be transparent. At the end of the day, we have to get involved. The information is put forth for us to take advantage of it. I attended the meeting, and also Ms. King attended the meeting. We got the information. It was 2 of us over at the Emmylou Olson Center. The information was put out. But we as residents, we have to get involved. Now, I attended the Ely alumni picnic party on, I think it was Saturday. It was full of people. So the disappointment is when we have, okay, like now, we got a commission meeting. Everybody's not working. So it's like when stuff get in transmission, get going and rolling, people feel like we leave them out. No, we're not left out. We got to be acclimated and get involved where it's important. So I stand here and for that statement that Commissioner made to be corrected. The information is put out. We as residents got to take the initiative to show up. And with the rehab program, it's a lot of information is involved because they got to be audited. They have to be audited and everything need to line up. So the information has to be there. If the information is not there, they move on to the next person in line. That's how it works. But to say that they're not participating and doing what they need to do, that they are. That's what I want to say.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Okay.
Mayor?
Commissioner Perkins.
Just to make myself clear again, would you please send me some of your flyers so I can distribute them in the community? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a couple of questions on the committee and the report on the recommendations. So did they meet twice a year or once a year?
We meet it's an annual meeting that we have, but we do hold 2 meetings every year.
Okay.
The AHEC.
I've noticed that every year we get this report, and there's, I think, 11 items, and the recommendation from the committee is generally no changes to the current incentive. So is the way to think about that we are adjusting as we go and implementing things so that we don't get to a point where we're falling behind and they have to make these recommendations? Or how detailed do you actually dig into this?
Well, this used to be once every 3 years. It used to coincide with our Local Housing Assistance Plan, our LHAP. That's a 3-year plan, and these incentives are laid out within our 3-year plan. Recently, I think in the last maybe 3 years ago, the Florida Housing Coalition made it so that we had to meet annually with our AHEC, just so we can, review these incentive strategies, and if there's anything that needs to be addressed, it can be addressed on an annual basis. So we meet, we take everybody's comments into consideration. This year, that just so happened that there were no recommendations made. If you see in your backup, there are a few things, a few incentive strategies that pull from recently approved commission adopted incentives, specifically the affordable accessory residential units. So that was done in January 25th, 2022. So we are current. That's why we do this every year. There's going to be certain times where there's just going to be no recommendations that the committee feels as if we're addressing the needs and the incentives are working as intended.
Okay, yeah, I see that we've definitely incorporated things we've done. So the county policies on mixed income, the increase in the developer buyout for affordable housing, some other things. But I just wanted to make sure that, I don't know if this is where things percolate from, or if this is more of like just a check and balance on the process.
That's right. It's more of a checks and balances. Everything comes from our LHAP, which is done every 3 years. Usually in May, it comes before you for approval. So yeah, this is just something that the Florida Housing Coalition has us do in order to get our annual SHIP allocation.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, that takes us up to our regular agenda. Item number 3 is quasi-judicial in nature. Mr. Berman will discuss the parameters we'll use. Mr. Berman?
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone wishing to testify in item number 3 must be sworn in and may be subject to cross-examination by the City Commission or by interested parties. Individuals who address the commission should state his or her name and whether they have been sworn. City staff will make its presentation or introduction first, followed by the applicant or anyone else wishing to testify. Following the concluding remarks of the applicant, the hearing will conclude and the commission will make its consideration. All those who wish to testify in item number 3, please stand at this time, raise your right hand, and the city clerk will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence or testimony that you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Very good. Item 3 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving the McClinton 25 plat lying on the northwest corner of East Atlantic Boulevard and Northeast 13th Avenue, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Ms. Dolan.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commission, Jean Dolan, Development Services. The applicant is requesting plat approval for a 1-acre parcel located at 1207 East Atlantic Boulevard, which is the previous location of the Broward County Library that's moved into the Cultural Center. The property is located in the East Transit-oriented corridor and is currently vacant. A major site plan for the property was approved on June 28, 2023. The plat note restricts the property to 41 mid-rise units, 6 townhouse units, and 5,200 square feet of commercial space. The Planning and Zoning Board unanimously recommended approval of the plat, and staff recommends approval. Staff and the applicant are present if you have any questions.
Very good. Does the applicant wish to make any presentation or just here for questions? Questions only. Very good. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you. I know this is just a plat approval, but I was looking at the site plan and I had a few questions. This is very close to a neighborhood, so I'm always concerned about height, parking, and setbacks. So in terms of the height here, it looks like they're at 4 stories, stepping down to 3 in the site plan. The units in the parking seemed reasonable. I did have some questions on the setbacks and how it relates to this chord radius. So there was a condition at the Planning and Zoning Board, and if the chord radius decreases, does that change the setbacks? Can the building be closer to the road then?
Excuse me, Commissioner Fournier, are you asking if something changes in the future, will something change?
Well, there was a 40-foot radius, and it looks like now this plat note is a 30-foot radius.
The corner cord, the cord is, excuse me, I'm sorry, Mike Vondermeulen with Keith. Our address is 301 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach, and I have been sworn. So we're discussing a county requirement.
Mm-hmm.
The requirement is that there be a 30-foot, the original request was a 30-foot corner cord at the intersection, which is actually the northwest corner of the intersection there at Atlantic. And we were able to negotiate that down to a 25-foot corner cord. It still affects the original design of the building, so there will be minor tweaks, but not as drastic as they were with the original request from the county.
Okay, so this change allows the building to be closer to the corner?
The building was actually encroaching into that corner cord, so it's now being actually pushed back because the property line is being pushed back, and that property is being given to Broward County.
Okay. So 25 is the final agreement with the county, or is there still conversation about this?
They will not budge underneath 25.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Hart?
Yes. Item number 9 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving forms of a consulting engineer's report and a financial feasibility report relating to the city's proposed water and wastewater revenue bond, Series 2024, and authorizing modifications thereto as more fully described herein, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon,
Good
Mr.
afternoon, Allison Furtado, Finance Director. Mayor, Commissioner, the resolution seeks approval of the reports prepared by Corolla Engineer, Inc. and Raftalis Financial Consultant, Inc. as part of exhibits for the sale of Series 2024 bond relating to the water and wastewater system. The report represents in a substantially final form, and once finalized will be included in the POS and the final official statement used in connection with the public sale of the Series 2024 bond. I would also like to note that I have provided the clerk's office with an updated financial feasibility report prepared by Raftalis Financial Consultant. There has been no material change to the report. It just now has the date of October 4th, 2024, and a small change on page 17, figure 1, was updated with the local city's new rate based on a consumption of 8,000 gallons. That concludes my presentation.
Very good, Ms. Just for clarification for the public, you referenced POS. What does that stand for?
Preliminary offering statement.
Very good, thank you. Appreciate that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 10 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving the issuance of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida water and wastewater revenue bonds, Series 2024, in an aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $90 million, the Series 2024 bonds under ordinance number 2021-62, enacted on June 22nd, 2021, the bond ordinance, for the purpose of financing, including through reimbursement, the acquisition, construction, and equipping of all or a portion of certain capital projects related to the issuer's water, there goes the screen, sewer, wastewater, and reuse system, as more fully described herein, paying cost of issuance of the Series 2024 bonds and funding capitalized interest on the Series 2024 bonds and/or a reserve subaccount for the Series 2024 bonds if determined necessary and appropriate as provided herein, fixing certain times and details of the Series 2024 bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of the Series 2024 bonds, authorizing the public sale of the Series 2024 bonds, and the use of the preliminary official statement, official notice of sale, and the summary notice of sale in connection therewith, delegating authority to the city manager of the issuer in consultation with the issuer's municipal advisor to accept, pursuant to a competitive public sale process, the bid or bids of the lowest qualified bidder or bidders for the purchasing of the Series 2024 bonds, subject to certain parameters and other matters set forth herein, directing the application of the proceeds of the Series 2024 bonds, approving the form of and authorizing the distribution of a preliminary official statement and authorizing the execution and delivery of a final official statement and authorizing the execution and delivery of a certificate deeming the preliminary official statement final, approving the appointment of a UMB Bank N.A. as the paying agent and registrar for the Series 2024 bonds, approving the form of and authorizing execution and delivery of a continuing disclosure certificate with respect to the Series 2024 bonds, providing for the appointment of a dissemination agent, providing for a municipal bond insurance policy option, providing for certain amendments to the bond ordinance, authorizing other required actions, authorizing the proper officials of the issuer to do all other things deemed necessary or advisable in connection with the matters provided for herein, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Ms. Furtado.
Alison Furtado, Finance Director, Mayor Commissioner. The city seeks approval for the ordinance presented regarding issuing Series 2024 bond relating to the water and wastewater system. The ordinance for approval is needed to seek funding for all or portion of the cost of certain projects in the system approved by the 5-year capital improvement program and the cost of issuance. The competitive sale of the Series 2024 bond is expected to occur November 12th, and the issuing and closing is expected to occur around December 3rd. That concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Takes us up to item number 4 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending the Live Resorts Pompano PD plan as permitted by Section 155.2405, Plan Development of the City of Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances, to update applicable legal descriptions and amend the PCD use tables to provide 2 additional light industrial uses within the zoning district, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Weems.
Good afternoon. Max Weems, Development Services. This is the second reading of an ordinance. There have been no changes since the first reading. Myself and the applicants are available for questions or presentation as desired. This concludes my remarks.
Very good. Thank you for that. Does the applicant wish to make any presentation?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us. Jana Loda with Holland & Knight with offices at 515 East Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We do have a presentation. We made a full presentation during first reading, so it's certainly at the pleasure of the commission whether or not you'd like us to do it again. Otherwise, we're certainly available for any questions that you may have.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. I've got Vice Mayor.
Yes, no, I just wanted to thank Cordish and their team for we did a meeting with the MPO, their staff, city staff, Dan Deck from Tri-Rail, and all had a good sit down and discussion so to bring the Cordish development team and Tri-Rail to the table at the same time and let them talk directly to each other so they could see the benefits each side could take from moving forward with the station at that location. I think it was a very positive conversation, and we're into seeing if it's doable from both sides and what could be happening. But I just want to thank Mr. Long for coming down for that and, really exploring every option here for Pompano and the region in general. So thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. Commissioner Moss.
I wanted to thank the Vice Mayor for getting that meeting going, and I understand it was very productive, so very pleased for that. And again, I'll just reiterate what I said on first reading. I think this is going to be a big benefit for the neighborhood. Far better to have people working there, going home in their cars than 18-wheelers delivering a lot of things to a distribution center. So thank you, Cordish, for doing this, and very pleased to have you in the neighborhood.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item number 5 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a second amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Colt South Florida Owner LP for the fire logistics facility, exercising a 1-year lease extension, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Fire Chief Hudson.
Greeting, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Steve Hudson, Fire Chief. No changes since first reading. Standing by for any questions you might have.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, thank you for that. Item number 6 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a second amendment to the interlocal agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Broward County to provide community shuttle service, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. McCon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commission. Rob McCon, Public Works Director. This ordinance is a second amendment to the interlocal agreement the city has with Broward County to provide the community bus shuttle service. There have been no changes since the first reading. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item number 7 is a first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute service contracts between the City of Pompano Beach and Televac South Incorporated and the City of Pompano Beach and Environmental Services Group, Inc., to provide inspection, desilting, and dewatering services to the city's stormwater system and jet vacuum on-call services for city utilities, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Watson.
Good evening, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Nathaniel Watson, Utilities Field Superintendent. The item before you is another tool in the city's toolbox with regard to maintaining our storm sewer system. We're mandated by our MS4 permit to maintain 126 miles of storm sewer that we have within the city. So this allows us to do that.
Very good.
That concludes my presentation, subject to any comments.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Jocelyn Jackson. I want to say thank you, Mr. Watson. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I'm around everywhere in this city, trust me. I got time. And I want to say that you guys doing an outstanding job. And your men, let your men know that too. I tell them when I see them.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know we have new equipment too. I'm proud to see that. We stepping it up in the big leagues.
Very, very good. Thank you for that. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have seen the trucks out there. I think we all have. So we appreciate that. I look at this, and is this contract part of what enables the jetback trucks that are out there when we have storms like this?
Yes, Commissioner. It helps us with regard to during emergency situations like that. If we need the additional resource, they are available for us.
Is it enough? We always say, the opposite, like, we want to save when we can, obviously, but is this enough for what you need, what we need?
I don't know when it comes to torrential rains and trying to keep back what we have thrusted upon us, if you can have ever enough, Commissioner, to be honest with you. For the most part, it does help us to maintain during reasonable torrential rains, but when we have extreme conditions, we do have provisions where we go beyond this.
Okay. And there are some residents who've reached out to me and said that their area that's normally flooded, and it was yesterday, has been cleaned. So do you have hot spots that you identify and send these trucks out to in advance of the heavy storms?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all your team's doing. I know it's going to be a busy week.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 8 is a first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a piggyback agreement for cured in-place pipe, CIPP pipeline rehabilitation services between the City of Pompano Beach and In Situ Form Technologies LLC, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Once again, Mr. Watson.
Once again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, the item before you is a piggyback for us to do maintenance to our sanitary sewer system, our gravity system. This is a trenchless technology, so it allows us to go in and actually upgrade our sanitary sewer system without having to do open cut installation. The residents love it because it's less invasive, and we love it because it allows us to maintain the system without creating too much fuss. That concludes my presentation. Subject to any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. So we've been talking a lot about paving neighborhoods, and one of the things that came back was that we needed to do some underground work in some of the neighborhoods in my district before we move forward with paving, which makes sense. But is this the agreement then that will facilitate that work in Cypress Harbor that needs to be done?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you. We look forward to that.
You're welcome.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item number 11 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a construction agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and PowerCom LLC for security enhancements at the Pompano Beach Air Park, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Good afternoon, Dr. Good.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Tammy Good, CIP Manager. This item is to approve the award of the construction contract with PowerCom to provide various scope relative to enhancing the security system at the air park. $773,934, of which Florida Department of Transportation has granted $600,000, leaving a burden of just over $173,000 to be funded by the city. That concludes my comments.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item number 12 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Sand and Spurs Advisory Board of the City of Pompano Beach for a term of 3 years, said term to expire on October 10, 2027, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion.
Mayor,
Commissioner
is there-
Fournier.
are we taking nominees?
Yes.
Marcia Keel.
Marcia Kell, District 3 incumbent. Very good. Are there any further nominations for this item? Hearing none, nominations closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 13 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Sand and Spurs Advisory Board of the City of Pompano Beach for a term of 3 years, said term to expire on October 10th, 2027, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second. Mayor?
Moved and second for discussion. Commissioner Seegerson-Eden.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Sharon Fornes.
Sharon Fornes, incumbent, District 5. Very good. Are there any further nominations for this item? Hearing none, nominations closed. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Takes us up to item 14, discussion and consideration item for the annual performance evaluation for Mr. Mark E. Berman, City Attorney. Ms. Sinigo. I figured I would read that one for you.
Thank you. I was hoping I wouldn't have to read that one.
Good afternoon. Lisa Sinego, Human Resources Director. It is time to review Mark Berman, City Attorney. You review all the officials annually. And a performance tool was provided if you wanted to use that. But again, it is time for your discussion. Along with that email came examples for 1%, 2%, and 3% increase. I also have 5% if you have interest in that. The city officials have been receiving anywhere between a 3 and 5 merit from you all. And any merit that would be agreed to would be effective September 18, which was his date. So.
Very good. Thank you for that. All right, anyone like to start off the conversation? Vice Mayor.
I'd just like to say Mr. Berman is always accessible, and whenever I've had questions and need his insight and advice, he is always, quick to call back or sit down and chat, and I appreciate that a lot. And I also appreciate, his guidance on keeping city both conservative in our, dealings with the things that are brought to us, but also not quick to, overreact to anything that we go to. So thank you very much.
Very good. Yes, yes. Commissioner Moss.
I'd like to thank Mark for his almost 30 years of service to the city. And echo what the Vice Mayor said, you do a good job for us and always been there for us. I appreciate what you do for the city.
Very good. Yes, Mr. Berman, you do a great job for us. You do go above and beyond, of course. I mean, every employee in the city goes above and beyond, it seems like. But I'm not sure if you all realize, but just this past Saturday evening, Mr. Berman came back to the office to prepare the emergency proclamation for the current storm that we're under. So I thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time to come back to City Hall. But yes, Commissioner Perkins.
Yes, I agree that our city attorney does go above and beyond. And what I like about you, Berman, is when I have a question, staff doesn't call me back, you call me back. So I like that. I have the privilege of sitting next to you in a meeting, so I get to ask questions while you're sitting here. So yes, just appreciate your service and keeping us informed and on top of things. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. I do get yelled at by the mayor sometimes for that, by the way, when he hears us.
Because we're down here
But we're
talking,
good.
right?
I was acting officially, I wanted you to know. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. I'd go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and award a 5% increase for Mr. Berman's salary.
Second.
Then second for 5%. Discussion on them. Well, let's see. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? You can name and address for the record.
Jocelyn Jackson. Now, my decision on when Mr. Berman make those faces, I would say no, get rid of them. But no, yeah, I think for him to be able to put up with this commission board, he's a keeper. Because y'all a piece of work sometimes. So I would say keep him, and, you know, he's really knowledgeable of what's going on in the city. And if he's not aware of something and you ask him, he will find out the information and get back with you. Now, that's something he will do. He will get back with you. And he's compassionate about the residents. That means a lot to me. Because, you know, sometimes the residents will have issues, and I don't know, some of them just feel comfortable with approaching myself, even though I don't work for y'all. And I'll see Mr. Berman, and he'll say, you know, he'll let me know the rules, the pros, and the cons, and if he don't know, he'll get back to you with the information. So I'm really glad that he is willing to continue to stay on board, especially with this commission board here. So yeah, my vote is for the 5%.
Very good.
That's the max, right? That's my vote.
Very good, thank you. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you. I want to echo what everyone has said about Mark's accessibility. I can think of all the times we've been on the phone and all the places I have been and the time you have taken as I'm dragging kids through Publix or whatever I'm doing, and you will always take the time to explain everything, to be responsive, and I really appreciate that. I think obviously we're going to retain you. We need you. I don't think anyone else can read what you just read earlier. So, but I do want to remind this commission that every dollar we spend is something we have to pay for. So let's hope that the taxable base of the city continues to go up as it has. But it's important to just remember that when we give out raises, that's something we have to pay for. So I think you're certainly deserving of it, and the people of the city would agree. So thank you.
Mayor.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton.
Thank you. Also, I think Mr. Berman has really been excellent counsel to the city on an overall basis with some of the ordinances that have been written and the way we've moved our city forward and kept it safer and protected. So I agree. Definitely want to keep him on. Okay. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Any further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, congratulations, Mr. Berman.
Thank you very much.
Very good. That takes us up to additional audience to be heard. Kervin, do we have anyone signed up?
No additional audience to be heard.
Very good. Next scheduled meeting, we've got October 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. That's a regular city commission meeting. It'll be followed by November 12th, 2024 at 1 p.m., a regular city commission meeting. Takes us up to reports. Mr. Harrison.
Yes, sir. We have another award.
Uh-oh. Is Randy here?
Oh, no, it's not Randy. Mary. Where's Mary? Mary, stand up.
All right.
So, Mary Rivero is our purchasing director, as you all know. And Mary received one of 72 cities across the United States award for the city of Pompano Beach's procurement department.
Wow. Congratulations.
Mary's hasn't been here that long, and she's already made great inroads into improvements in our purchasing department. So thank you, Mary. Good job.
Very good. Thank you.
That concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Great report. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Burns, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for your kind words, your support, and the consideration. Much appreciated. And as always, if you need me, give me a call, and I'm here for you. Even if I'm somewhere else, I'm here for you. So I want to point out just a couple of things. You know, some people have been asking me questions, and I've been giving them answers. I can't say you should or shouldn't vote. But when you look at tonight's agenda, there's questions with regard to the potential charter amendments. And one of them is doing agreements with resolutions and not ordinances, the way it's written in state statute. And if you just look at today's agenda, an ordinance for Televac We could have had that done already. We wouldn't have had to pay tax dollars to advertise it. There would have been a reading and public input, but here it is, 2 readings. It's taking time. It's taking more effort that no other cities are doing in order to approve contracts. But wait, there's more. We've got the cured in pipe. We want our pipes. We don't want them bursting. We want them fixed. They're doing a great job. But to get them this contract, we got to wait over a month instead of just getting it done. We've got to advertise it. We got to pay tax dollars. But there's more. There's let's see, the cured in pipe place. There's the Enviro Waste. There's the ordinance for the interlocal agreement for shuttle service. And this is just one agenda. So this adds up month after month, week after week, and throughout the year. So when we brought that to you for your consideration, this is just one of the factors. We're glad you approved it. We hope the voters and those that are watching today consider this as well. These should be approved by resolution. That's what resolutions are for, administrative matters, ordinances, pass laws. I just wanted to take an opportunity to make that at least until the election, to reiterate that for everybody. Other than that, thank you once again. Stay safe, stay dry, and keep fingers crossed for everyone throughout the state. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Berman. Mr. Alfred, City Clerk.
Yes, Mayor. I want to take this opportunity to announce that the city will be holding a general election on November 5th, 2024, for the purpose of electing a mayor at large, District Commissioner 1, 3, 4, and 5. Information regarding the candidates is available on our city website, as well as the referendum questions, the 3-question ballot questions that we have. Information on that, as well as on the city's election page. Early voting for said election will start on October 21st through October 21st through Sunday, November 3rd, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Our EPAT Larkin Center is a designated early voting site, as well as our Emmylou Olson Center. For additional information regarding the early voting sites throughout Broward County, you can visit the Broward Supervisor of Elections webpage at browardvotes.gov. That concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you for that, sir. Appreciate it. Takes us up to City Commission. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple things. First, I want to urge everyone to prepare for the storm. I do think that we can expect a rain event here. Be safe, that's what's most important. I want to thank the team from Environmental Services who have been working at the sandbag giveaway for the last couple days. I was out there yesterday morning with the guys, and they said they had started at 4 a.m. So I wanted to thank them for all of their work in lifting those sandbags and getting them to people and to residents who need them, and also to Utilities, who has been doing work preparing and will obviously have more work to do during and after the storm. So thank you to the team at the city for getting us in such a good position here to be prepared. That's the storm. Oh, and the city, I believe the city is closed for the next couple days. So the operations of the city, the parks, all the facilities are closed October 9th and 10th. Essential services will obviously operate, and I believe garbage will be on schedule. So there's no changes to that as of now. And then I wanted to mention my monthly community meeting will be next week. It's normally the 4th Wednesday, but we are moving this one to next Wednesday, October 16th at the American Legion at 7 p.m. And we are fortunate enough to have our state representative, Chip LaMarca, as our special guest at the meeting. We will also answer questions about charter amendments or anything else that's on people's mind. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Moss.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing, because of the upcoming inclement weather and the city closing city facilities, the Palmer United Candidates Forum has been postponed until this Monday, the 14th, 7 p.m. at the Skolnick Center, and that decision was just made a few hours ago. We'll be contacting all of the candidates and contacting the Pelican, which is going to be running it for us. So, for those of you who are listening, not tomorrow, but next Monday, the 14th of October, 7 p.m. at the Herb Skolnick Center. And we're hoping for a very big turnout. hear what the candidates for commission and mayor have to say to the public. So please be there if you can. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you very much for that. Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. One question I have for staff, I was just curious to know, do we have any areas in Pompano that are considered flood zones that are that are west of Federal Highway? That's considered a flood zone?
Yeah.
Okay, can staff or someone get with me after the meeting and kind of identify those areas to me?
Sure, we can give you a map.
Sure, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, lastly, I wanted to say that the turnout for the Blanchely Parade on Saturday was awesome. After the parade, there was a tailgate, and those of you who don't know what that is all of the classes or people that graduated from Blanchely High School came together, and it was over 1,000 people at the tailgate, and they left the tailgate and migrated at Smitty's in Fort Lauderdale. And I just think it'd be great if we had a restaurant like that in the Northwest where everybody can remain in Pompano rather than in the celebration in Fort Lauderdale. So that's something we need to take in consideration. Perhaps we can get us a Smitty's in Pompano, a restaurant in Pompano where everybody can gather, but the school pride was there. Every school, every class that graduated was there to represent. It was just like a big family reunion. So it was well over 1,000 people, but just want to say salute to Blanchely High School. Thank you.
Very good. It sounds like you're about to become a restaurant entrepreneur. Is that correct, Commissioner Perkins?
I wouldn't mind that at all. Just
Very
need
good.
funding from the city.
Look forward to it. Absolutely. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know that there will be an informational session about the charter amendments on the 16th of October at 6 p.m. at the Charlotte Burry Center. And I'm super glad that we're doing it. I know pretty much everyone from the staff and your office, Mr. Berman, and the mayor. And I thank you for requesting that, Mayor. It should be a good, I'm working hard to get a good turnout on that and supporting it. Also, I just want everyone to stay safe, be safe. You can't over-prepare. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So hopefully, and we are getting a lot of flooding. There's no place for the water to go. Everything is overwhelmed and inundated, and we're just going to have to get through it. Don't drive if you don't have to, and stay safe. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick thank you to Representative LaMarca and some of the guys from Hub International and Association Reserves and COP Florida, our CEO, MC Florida, that we had a great condo town hall meeting to talk about what's happening with the legislation in Tallahassee and the insurance policies, best practices and tips, and we're going to be from that meeting. A lot of the board presidents, we all and other board members spoke, and we're going to try and coordinate continuing meetings to really address the condo issues and have emails that are coordinated and even all the fun stuff too. So anyone who's listening who's interested in condo specific issues and wants to get involved, definitely shoot me an email with yours and we'll add you to the list. Otherwise, keep tuned because we will be doing more meetings to address as such. And then I also want to thank staff for a beautiful evening at Untapped. It was a lovely show out, prior to the storm and lots of fun. And then, yes, just stay safe in the storm. If you have to drive, try and pay attention to high tide times as well, because that, adds to the lack of drainage and height of the water, because, yeah, it's coming and it's out there and we're already saturated, so just be careful. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Harrison, do we, I could have asked this question earlier today, but sorry I didn't, but do we have a plan throughout the city to address the swales in front of homes? Because I know flooding is huge. Of course, it's because of the rain we've had recently, but flooding is huge, and it's been huge for years in certain areas. And I know that Mr. John Seropoulos, he arranged along my street, Southeast 7th Street over in Norwood, and around the corner somewhat to have the city crews come out and they actually shaped the swales. They dug out some dirt and made it so the swales are lower than the actual street. That way, water can drain off into the swale area and percolate down into the water system, which really helped the flooding situation immensely. And I know that we still have lots of areas that have flooding issues, and just shaping the swales made a tremendous difference in my area. And I don't know, do we have plans to do that throughout the city? I know some places, like over in Old Pompano, of course, they're 21 feet high, so they probably don't have flooding conditions, but there's lots of places that do. And this shaping of the swales, although some people will object to it, I'm sure, how dare you mess with my yard, but it's effective for reducing flooding. So do we have?
I know the city engineering department addresses these as they come up and are pointed out, but I don't know of any separate distinct plan.
Gotcha.
Swale to swale.
Okay, so I would just point out to all the commissioners up here that it's this shaping of the swales, and like I said, some folks I'm sure will object to it because, like I said, I mean, right now I've got a divot in my front yard where there didn't used to be one, but I'll tell you what, it works. It really works to get the water off the streets and allows it to percolate down in the grassy area where it's supposed to be. Because if it stays in the street, it's never gonna go away until it evaporates. So the shaping of the swales, if you've got an area in your district that you've heard of that has a problem with drainage, talk to John Seropoulos, or no, talk to Mr. Harrison. John, he's got too much stuff to do. But talk to Mr. Harrison, and he will prioritize getting that area looked at for shaping of the swales, because it really does, it works. All right? Stay safe out there. We've got a hurricane on the way. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad of an impact for us, but keep the folks on the west coast of Florida in your prayers. They've got a world of hurt coming their way. And stay safe out there. And thank you so much for all that staff is doing, getting Untapped back up to
Mayor?
speed and all that. Commissioner Perkins?
Can you also remind the residents the city closing?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, city is closed effective tomorrow and Thursday. And of course, Friday. City's always closed on Friday. But yeah, tomorrow and Thursday, the city is closed for all operations. Garbage, though, is on tomorrow and Thursday?
Yes, unless something drastic happens this afternoon.
Gotcha. So plan on it being working garbage, but if things go sideways, if your garbage is still out there on Friday and you had a Thursday pickup, go ahead and pull it back in because it's not going to get picked up. If they have to skip a day, they'll skip a day, but hopefully they won't have to. So yeah, very good. Thank you. This meeting's adjourned.